This is TechTalk Detroit with Brian Spurgeon and Chuck Lobert. TechTalk Detroit brings you the latest in tech news and Detroit happenings every week.
Well, welcome back to TechTalk Detroit. We thought we'd take a little bit of time this week. We've spent a few episodes talking about working remotely. We've spent some time talking about cybersecurity. Obviously, a lot recently around the COVID-19 stuff. So we just wanted to take a little bit of time for this one and we figured we'd talk about just normal stuff, everyday life, what's going on in our world today. Obviously everybody's dealing with things a little bit differently, and we just figured we'd take a little bit of time and talk about it, not focus in on any specific technology stuff, because all of the tech news right now is around COVID-19 and working remotely in cybersecurity, which we've already talked about. It's all the emails I'm getting right now. I'm sure, Brian, that's all the emails you're getting as well.
Nonstop.
So we just wanted to take a little bit of time and get away from all of that and talk a bit about how things are going. I cut my own hair last week. Brian's talking.
Yep, you did a good job, by the way.
Doing so, thank you. I appreciate that. But you're not going to do that because you've got a wedding coming up, and you think it takes too long for your hair to grow back, which I think is ridiculous. But whatever.
Absolutely, yeah. My hair is way too thin. I can't run the risk of it growing back bad. So I gotta ride it out, and yeah, it's not looking good for me though. I'm looking pretty scraggly. I've gotten used to that clean look, and I'm looking rough, man. I look like I've been boarded up in my house for about 5 or 6 weeks. So
it's crazy.
I know. What a thought.
So does your whole thought around your hair also have to deal with your facial hair as well then, I take it, based on what I'm seeing on Zoom?
Dude, I've never been able to grow a beard, and I figured this is as good of an opportunity to either confirm that, which it's looking like is the case. But
yeah, if you're 5 weeks in, I think you've confirmed it. I think you can give up.
It's bad, man. It's so patchy. I mean, I think I grew a thicker beard when I was 15. So I don't know what's going on. My dad can grow a full one, and here I am, man. It's spotty at best. It's the best way to put it. So you got to play the cards you're dealt,
Yeah, your dad's a man, you're a boy. That's all it is. So how are you dealing with things? We've been working from home now. I think this is week 6, starting today. How are you dealing with all of that? Working from home, and now obviously we're into, I think, week 3 or 4 of the stay-at-home order. So how are you dealing?
Yeah, well, and I've been home longer than that. So right. I got sick a few weeks before the stay-at-home order, and I was already kind of just self-quarantining just to be safe. And that was before they had testing or anything. So I didn't even know. I still don't know if I had it or not, but just to err on caution, I did. But I mean, honestly, from a work standpoint, it's the transition was for the most part pretty smooth. I mean, we were real busy at first. I think that was kind of the general theme for a lot of businesses, but we had a lot of tickets those first few weeks. And we've kind of leveled out now over the last week or two. If not back to normal, maybe quieter than usual. So I think, yeah, we've had an opportunity now to adjust. I think you're seeing other companies adjust. I think businesses are, figuring out what process changes, what business level changes need to happen to make this thing work for, another month or so. And I think that you're kind of seeing a bit of a slowdown from a business standpoint. So I think the transition from that element's been great. I think for me, the bigger challenge has been the transition in more of the personal life. Work it's easy. You got endless things of tasks that you need to get knocked out. There's plenty of projects that's been backburner that you can pull to the forefront. But I think I'm the type of person where I feel like I always need to be doing something to be getting the most value out of the time I'm spending. And I think, that's been the struggle is being, locked down to the house. I'm having a hard time feeling like I'm getting the most out of my time. All my hobbies are outdoor hobbies, and I'm generally more of like a busybody type. So, I think it's funny because every time I open the back door, I live off a canal. There's these ducks just come like flying up in the yard because they know I'm about to stock up the 4 bird feeders I got out because I got nothing else better to do but keep filling the seat up daily. So, that's part of the routine. I've put shelving in my shed. I've redone shingles that didn't even need to be redone just because I didn't like the way they looked and it was something to do. So I don't know if you're running any of that stuff, Chuck, but it's just like never ending projects around here.
First of all, I want to know what ducks are eating out of a bird feeder.
I was shocked too, I'll be honest. And it wasn't their first rodeo. I was out there the other day, pulling everything out of the shed, and they just kind of wandered up in the yard. They didn't care about me. They went right underneath the bird feeder. And you know what it is? There's just blackbirds that just shake this thing, and the seed, and the particular one I got in there is like this like cracked corn. So they just eat it off the ground. But I made the mistake of throwing some out there, and then now they just know like I'm the one that's doing it. So as soon as they hear my sliding door, man, they're like on it.
So they're eating what falls on the ground, not actually out of the bird feeder.
Correct. Yep. Okay. They're eating. They're clearing everything on the bottom because these birds, they just, they're all over the place. They're just rocking this thing, so it just all falls underneath the tree. But yeah, it's pretty funny. It was news to me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's been the same for me. Like Saturday, I spent some time outside working, trimming up the bushes and such. My lawnmower broke end of last year, so my plan for this year was to just pay somebody to do the lawn until I got around to buying something new. But now I can't pay somebody to do the lawn, so now I'm looking for a new lawnmower. So that's been fun. And then it's apparently there. We've been walking the dogs a lot as well, and somebody from our neighborhood sent out an email early last week saying that we have bald eagles apparently on our lake. So
that's
been
awesome.
Keeping on the watch for that. Yeah, I figure that'd be pretty cool to see. I think the only other time we've seen any in wild is we were driving to Copper Harbor, and it was crazy. My wife, we were driving down, I can't think of the highway, but it make Highway 41, I think. It goes right along Lake Michigan, and then goes up through the middle of the Upper Peninsula up to Lake Superior. But my wife goes, it'd be really cool to see a bald eagle. And right as it had to have been within 30 seconds of her saying that, this bald eagle swoops right down in front of our windshield. And so I said, all right, well, now say it'd be really cool to see $1 million. And that didn't work so well.
Yeah.
But it was pretty crazy. That was the only other time that we've seen one in wildlife. And then when I was out in Oregon last, I actually saw some as well. So it's a very rare thing for us to see, at least around here. So been keeping our eyes out, looking for that, hoping it doesn't take our smaller dog away.
They are big, man. If you see them up close, they are
right.
That's a big bird.
Yeah.
Our small dogs are fair game.
Pounds. Yeah, I figured
there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, it's a snack for this thing.
Yeah, the first time I ever seen one actually was in Florida, coming in from the ocean on a boat, and it was on the shoreline feeding on, I guess, probably a dead fish. But thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, I know, right? And it was just not the place I thought I would have seen one for the first time. Florida, you know? It just seemed like they'd be much more predominant where we're from. But I'd say probably over the last 3, 4, 5 years, I've seen quite a bit in the northern part of the state. Yeah, I see them quite often. I think they've definitely bounced back significantly. I think when I was a kid, it was they had the programs at the zoo where you could adopt an animal. And that's what one of our classes did, was the bald eagle, because they were so endangered at the time. So I think it's nice to see. Fast forward now, 20, 25 years to see those animals rebound. It's cool.
And we're still sitting in our homes.
We're still sitting in our homes. You got that right.
No, it's funny though, because from a business perspective, for us, aside from the fact that we're working from home, not a lot has changed, and we're still moving forward with all of our plans. We had been in negotiations already for some new office space. We're still moving forward with that. It's tough because you question yourself along, at every step. Should this is this the right thing to keep doing? But you got to keep moving forward as a business. You got to keep, trying to stay as normal as you can, because you still have, staff that, that depend on the organization, right? You still have customers that depend on the organization. So you got to keep things going as as much like, what we call normal as possible. And I think, when we look at the next, whatever it is, months, year, 18 months, 2 years, there's going to be a quote unquote new normal, where I think we're going to be continuing to social distance to a point. We're going to continue to see a change in what we're used to as our everyday life, but eventually things are going to get back to normal. So I think you still got to plan for that, for things getting back to a typical, normal, what we've been used to all of these years. So, I know for us, we're things have changed, processes have changed, business has definitely changed, but as much as we can, I think we got to try to keep things as normal as we possibly can as well.
Yeah, no, I think that brings up a good point. Yeah, there's that uncertainty, I mean, you can't avoid what's going on around us, right? It's just part of our life now, business, personal, anything. So, but and every day you wake up, nothing's consistent from one day to the next. It seems like, guidelines change and new data shows you something that's, better, or something that's, trending worse.
For sure. And that's, I think that's the way that things are going to continue to go. And I think, like I said, as much as we can, we got to keep things as normal as we can. In Michigan, I think for the most part, business is continuing to go. Obviously there's certain industries that are being hit harder than others, retail, restaurant, but for the majority of our clients, it seems like, at least as of now, things are continuing. Hopefully we'll be able to get back to work, as quickly as we can, but, we'll see. In the meantime, we just got to keep doing what we can and keep, we certainly think our, those that are in the healthcare and those first responders that are doing what they can, being at those front lines and keeping us safe and healthy. We know that they're dealing with a lot right now, so we thank them. And for our part, we're trying to just help as many businesses as we can be able to work in a remote facet to be able to continue their business as well. Because I think as much of the economy as we can kind of keep going here, the better off we all are here. So, we appreciate everybody taking the time to listen to us. We're hoping next week to be able to have a partner of ours on with us. We've got a couple of partners we're reaching out to, some around backup, some around security. Maybe even some clients that we're going to reach out to about how their kind of business has changed over the past little bit here. But so hopefully we're going to have a guest on with us next week. That's what we're working for this week. But we thank you for taking the time to listen to us, and we look forward to talking to you again at our next podcast.
Interact with Tech Talk Detroit at techtalkdetroit.com or on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.